Bengaluru's flood woes are back in the spotlight. You must be thinking, isn't it, every year? A new study now identifies 10 major traffic junctions that continue to choke with water every time the city receives heavy rain. From narrow underpasses to clogged drains, here's what the report reveals about the city's waterlogging hotspots. Bengaluru's struggle with floods may soon turn into annual inconvenience and later to urban crisis. A study conducted by the Institute for Social and Economic Change after the 2022 floods has flagged at least 10 major traffic junctions vulnerable to waterlogging and heavy congestion. These includes, and listen carefully, Kumaraswamy Layout, Ibbaluru, Gorgantepalya, Silk Board, KR Puram Railway Station, Kadubeesanahalli, then Saraki, Dairy Circle and Banashankari Signal. At Silk Board, solid waste dumped into stormwater drains is the main culprit. The Research Institute campus itself was inundated during the 2022 floods at Saraki. Overflowing manholes and inadequate drains caused water to collect on all the folders. If you talk about KR Puram, two narrow underpasses near the railway junctions become impossible even if there is just moderate rain. The study also reveals that 226 flood-prone areas have been identified across the city, 25 in Mahadevapura zone alone, where Belandur Lake is a major overflow source. With waterlogging reported under bridges and at flyover ends, experts recommend placing permanent pumps at choke points, fencing drains, and also strengthening the BBMP's network. Despite 1060 crores spent on drain repairs in 2021, the result remained very patchy. ISEC researchers say missing data on tertiary drains and poor lake interlinking add to the growing crisis. I'm going to now connect with an expert, Professor Krishna Raj, who's an economist from ISEC Bengaluru and part of this entire research. Thank you so much, Professor Raj, for joining us on this broadcast. Very, very important study, because everyone and anyone is scratching their head and saying, we live in a garden city, it's a beautiful city, the weather is fantastic, but every year there is a crisis. There is a huge economic loss, there is also an emotional loss, there is also nuisance value. Professor, I want to ask you that how did you come to this empirical evidence, as it were?
Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Recently, we conducted two studies. One study is on traffic congestion, the economic cost of traffic congestion. And another study is on sustainable transportation for Bengaluru city. In these two studies, we identified various reasons or causes for traffic congestion. These mainly include the fundamental causes. These fundamental causes are economic growth of the Bengaluru city, increased in the per capita income of the people. As a result, they started owning their own personalized vehicle due to poor public transport, and also the in-migration due to looking for job. This is
Right,
the
like,
fundamental reason.
yeah. So
The
let me,
proximate
sir,
reason,
Professor, let me interject here, and my apologies. Poor public transport. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what the professor says. Poor public transport. You know what's happening with Namma Metro. The ridership has fallen. You've increased the prices. Buses are in a shambles. The traffic is so poor that public transport becomes a double nightmare. Well, talking about migration into Bengaluru, well, the city planners did a bad thing, or maybe the urban planners are not thinking enough that if there are 500 people coming in every day, the city is crumbling, so something must be done. That does not mean people living in Bangalore should suffer. Go ahead, Professor. What else?
See, among the various reasons, of course, the uh, provision of public transport plays an important role, especially the metro as well as the buses, metro and
I
buses,
also, yeah,
BBMP.
Professor, let's come to the specifics now, and not to the details of it, but what people who are watching this show would be interested. Let's take KR Puram. Now, the report says that in KR Puram, there are two underpasses near the station junction. Now, both of them are very narrow and would get inundated, leading to congestion. What is the solution then?
See, in case of KR Puram, each traffic junction has got their own problems. But in case of Kerpuram, uh, uh, the width of the road and the more junctions they join together, that creates more traffic, and movement of traffic will be very slow because the traffic lights, they have to operate from all the directions, they have to allow vehicles to move smoothly.
Mahadevapura has
Further,
25.
infrastructure and poor condition of the road
Sir,
is the another reason for.
absolutely, absolutely, very well said. Now, Mahadevapura, the report says 25 flood-prone areas are there. Isn't that right, Professor?
The Madhavpura, in case of Madhavpura, this is the frequent floods are
How do
taking
we fix
place in
that? How
Madhavpura.
do we fix
There
that?
are
It's a major
low-lying
place.
areas.
Sir, all denizens live in Mahadevapura, sir. How does one fix it? I mean, the government doesn't want to listen to anyone. They keep going for visits, but nothing must happen. But people like you are professors, academics, they need to give us solutions. What is the way out, Professor?
The improvement of infrastructure is the main solution to ease the traffic congestion in Bengaluru city. See, the vehicle numbers are increasing. On par with vehicular population, there is no commensurate increase in the infrastructure, road infrastructure, and also not only infrastructure, more importantly, the road condition also plays. And according to the Indian Road Congress, there are certain facilities have to be provided for the commuters, especially those who travel in the vehicles. So such small improvement can nudge the behavior of the people and also
Okay, if these
provide provision.
improvements, Professor, if these improvements do not happen, how do you see Bengaluru shaping up in the next 10 years, sir?
Sorry, your voice is so feeble here. But can you repeat the question?
Certainly, Professor. I said if these improvements do not happen, what is the future of Bengaluru? Because if this is going to happen every year, then in the next 1 decade or so, what will be the
Correct.
condition of IT city, sir?
That's what the coordination effort of both central and state governments would play an important role. For example, smart city programs, they have been withdrawn in recent times, but cities require investment. Cities require revamping of infrastructure. Cities requires different master plans. Cities require behavioral changes among the people to use public transport. This is how we have to approach long-term and short-term approaches one should have to ease the traffic. Otherwise, it is very difficult. One approach cannot solve this traffic congestion. There are multiple approaches and long-term and short-term approaches. One of the approaches recently the government of Karnataka planned is that the flyovers and also underpasses and also tunnel roads. But some of them are sustainable, some of them are not
All
sustainable.
right, but the
It
situation looks very grim as the visuals were also showing there on your screens right now. I mean, they've done a study of 10 very traffic prone and flood prone areas in Bengaluru, which includes, of course, KR Puram and Mahadevpura. The solution is to act now, even as we speak, and not even postpone it for tomorrow.